Hello everybody, this is my third review of films to come out in 2025. Today I'll be talking about the new Steven Soderbergh film, Presence. Would I recommend seeing Presence? Yes. However, I'm not sure a lot of people will agree with me because the opinions I've seen about this movie are really not at all uniform. Some people really like it, some people really don't. It seems pretty 50-50. The thing I think everybody will enjoy about this movie is the presentation. It's a traditional ghost story where a family moves into a new house and there's a presence, but the really great twist on that concept is that the entire movie is shot from the ghost's perspective. And it's not only a good idea for a ghost movie, but it's pulled off really well. It never felt like a sweaty camera operator was walking around with a camera. The camera moves super smooth. The motions are eerie and, very floaty, I guess is how I describe it. It never feels like it's being moved by a person, and it never feels like it's a person walking. It feels like you're just kind of flying around. You never see shadows of the camera, you never see reflections. It worked really well. I also love the really wide-angle lens that they used for this movie. I love the jump cut editing. All of the presentation was really great in my opinion. The acting and dialogue, I think, is the aspects that a lot of people aren't liking about this movie, but here are my thoughts. This movie made me think a lot about movie acting versus how people act in real life. I think a lot of time we as film fans feel as though we're judging acting by how realistic it is, but the truth is we're usually judging acting by how natural it is, which is a totally different thing, because film acting is so different from the way human behavior is in the real world. Perhaps if we saw the way people acted in the real world through the lens of a camera, we'd see it as bad acting or bad dialogue, because we sometimes talk and behave in ways that are kind of unnatural, when we're nervous or just not thinking about the things we say or do that hard. So to get back to Presence, the acting and dialogue is often kind of awkward and stilted, and kind of weird, but I thought it actually made the movie feel a little more realistic for me. But I would totally understand why people would call this bad, and this is all not to say that all the acting is great, because it's not. There are two teenage boys in the movie who really don't give amazing performances. I'm kind of forgiving though, considering the dialogue I think would be pretty hard for anyone to pull off, let alone actors that don't have a whole lot of experience. Still, though, there was one pretty unconvincing argument at like a family dinner table, and I feel like the son or brother character was probably the weakest player there. He was a little over the top, and it took me a while to figure out what the boyfriend character was even going for with his performance. But once I kind of figured it out, I felt a lot more comfortable with how weird his performance was. I think there might be a real or possibly fake tear that they gave him at one point. It almost looked like CGI to me. I have no idea. He also gives a very unnecessary monologue near the end. It gave me some good understanding of what they were going for the story, but it felt very unnatural. The other things I want to mention are the amazing use of eye contact in this movie. That worked really brilliantly. I wouldn't really call this a horror movie, but that was genuinely very unsettling and caught me off guard, the way they used eye contact. Also, the ending was great. It leaves a lot unanswered, but I was totally fine with that. I thought it was a good note to end on. I enjoyed getting to kind of figure out things for myself after seeing it, and not having it spoon-fed to me and leaving things up in the air. But there's one scene at the climax of the movie where they use this really cool camera effect that's sort of druggy intentionally. It really fit the new perspective that the film has at the end of the movie. There's also a moment, the last shot of the movie genuinely gave me like chills, like in my head and down my spine. It caught me so off guard because, as I said, this movie isn't really a horror movie. Nothing scary happens the entire time, and then that moment at the very end really got me. And look, what scares you is totally subjective. This isn't going to work for everybody. It's probably not going to have nearly the same effect for me the second time I see this. But man, it got me this first time. Lucy Liu killed it with her performance. It was perfect, and definitely caused the film to have that effect on me. Anyways, that's not going to happen for everybody, but I was creeped out leaving the theater, and the perspective of the film, I feel like, warped my perspective a little bit. I thought it was a really cool movie, even if it's not perfect. I've seen a lot of Steven Soderbergh movies, and this one is so unique. He usually feels very Hollywood-y, kind of over-the-top acting, normal presentation. He's even making a movie in like a couple months that looks like totally different, big budget, very kind of like a little over-the-top acting, totally different style. It's his usual shtick. Which I do like. I like a lot of Steven Soderbergh movies, but this one was special, and it might actually be my favorite from him. Anyways, I really enjoyed this, even though I totally understand where people are coming from. It definitely has a lot of flaws. I know not everybody's going to agree with me. Perhaps my opinion will change one way or another if I watch it again. But for now, I'm going to give this 3.5 stars out of 5. And that's it. Thank you for watching. Tomorrow I will post a review for Love Hurts starring Ke Huy Quan, so stay tuned for that. In the description I will put a link to my Letterboxd list where I rank the films I've seen of 2025. I will also put a link to a playlist that has all my reviews of 2025. You will also have a link to that right here, as well as a link to something else. That's about it. Thank you for watching. All ratings and comments are very much appreciated. See ya.